You're tuned into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
What a ball for Ricky Peach.
News across the galaxy. Keep on nagging, guys. Your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
That video intro still amazes me that not so long ago the LA Galaxy was crowned as your six-time MLS champ. From that to what they're doing now, it's pretty embarrassing. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I am one of your hosts, Bryant Lobos, and joining me tonight is Mr. Eduardo Campos. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing okay. Left a little speechless. It goes from bad to worse, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But
Yes, sir.
on a personal level, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, feeling better. You know, had a bit of a bug going on. It sounds like everyone else now here has the bug going on. So yeah, I can't complain.
And next to him is Gutinho. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Surviving, as Eddie said. The bug's going around. He actually passed it on to me. So
Giggity.
yeah, I'm
Cooties. And we'll bring in the other nag boy in here, Mr. Edgar Zuniga. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I've avoided the bug. I mean, for the most part. For a while there, I thought I was picking something up, but no, it was just allergies. But I think having a kid has inoculated me because he's brought over like every bug imaginable to the house, and there's only one bug I wish that he would bring home, and that is the Galaxy. Please finally win a game bug, but hasn't happened
Not known to existence.
I don't even know what that is.
Not known this season. And well, I don't know if you guys could tell, but my face is burnt from being in that stadium. I did put sunscreen on, but it did not work. Not at all. Anyway, leading up to the match, the LA Galaxy had 4 losses and 1 draw. They've lost to Portland Timbers 4-2. They lost in Sporting Kansas, the one where we set a record where no shots were coming against us, and we ended up losing 1-0. Then we get our ass spanked in New York 7-0. And then we saw a little bit of life against Philadelphia Union, where I thought Marco Boyce had one of his better games that he's had as a Galaxy player. Then we received LAFC at our house, another great match by Marco Boyce. And then we go to San Diego and lay another egg. What is that? How do you guys feel about that? Let's start with Guti. How do you feel about that record so far?
Speechless. Like it sucks. It's like you're going into the match against San Diego, and it's always the hope that kills you. You have that slim hope. Probably the second time this season where our roster is healthy despite not having Ricky. Um, it sucks. It's a shitty feeling.
Was there any hope from you, Eddie, coming into this match that maybe they could have got one in San Diego?
Not at all. Not at all. I think like the buzz going around with everybody. It's kind of funny. You have your forever optimistic Galaxy fans, that are always going to say that, yeah, there's a chance. But I think for the most part, the buzz before the game was like, it's funny because you were still looking at the game that was right in front of us. But the chatter was, oh, I think Wednesday we can get our first win. They were already looking past Saturday's game against San Diego. And I felt the same way. I was like, this isn't it. I think San Diego's in our head. They have like the by all by all means, the rights to call themselves the Kings of California for right now, because they've swept everybody. So they knew that was up for grabs. So they came out to play, and then I think we've all seen how uncomfortable the Galaxy looks in these early games. Whatever part of the country they're playing in. So I didn't have any. It was like at best I thought a tie, but even then I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
What about you, Edgar?
I was actually optimistic about this one.
See, that's one of those I was talking about earlier.
No, because I've been calling for losses and draws the entire year. And every time I called for a win, they lost or drawn. But this time around, I was pretty confident. I thought to myself, um, I really like what I saw in the second half in that match against LAFC. Even though I was upset with the result, and I figured that they would have some of that momentum that would carry them into this match, but uh, no. And I'll say this: um, I've been hearing like, I mean, when I some I listen to all the pods, right? And I remember like people have been asking Josh, hey, it's Josh, right from Corner Galaxy, like, hey, what do you predict in this next match? And usually Josh is pretty, he calls it like it is, right? And he recently he's been saying, I can't call a Galaxy win until they actually win one. And I was kind of I hadn't bought into that yet, but this last match shredded all hope I had left for this team. So like from now on, all you're gonna hear from me is Johnson losses until they finally win a match.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fair. I know we've had the cross pod with the guys from La Cuna Galaxiana. Shout out to them. They're going to be on at 9, so make sure you guys tune into their show. And I was already checked out from this whole season, from them even trying to make a push to the playoffs. But as a coach, if you're Vanny, you're not going to be telling your players that, right? No, we're going to shut it down because I see no. Of course not. But from us standing the outside, I think for the most part, most of us have accepted the fact that maybe we can't make that run. Yes, go ahead, Eddie.
You know what's funny though? That Edgar was optimistic, and the reason I was even less optimistic was because of the midweek. You were on the midweek. You spoke to this guy, and he talked
Yeah.
about the key to beating the Galaxy was making them uncomfortable in the middle. And I feel the least confidence I have, and when we can't figure it out, is in the middle. So when I heard that, I'm like, "Fuck!" There's that gave me less hope. So it's kind of funny that you'd be optimistic, where like that's the part where I'm like, that's where we're pretty weak right now.
Yeah, but it could be also that something's got to give. At one point, the LA Galaxy is finally gonna get a good win, and going against the San Diego team who beat us in the home opener, you would think that the team would have wanted to get their get back at them. It didn't come to play out that way, and it was
But this isn't 2024 though.
yeah,
That's the thing. You said
yeah.
they would want to come out and do whatever, right? You would feel the same way every time they lost the lead or they went down. Oh, this team's definitely gonna want to get it together. And no, this is 2024. You have to like stop lying to yourself too. It was it was never gonna happen.
Yeah, and well,
Also, I was
yeah, go
gonna
ahead.
say something interesting also as well is that 15 winless now in this season, stretch of 16 if you include that last loss to Houston in the regular season last year. So it's 16 straight regular season matches Galaxy has not won. Uh, yeah, it feels terrible, but just keep in mind it could be worse because at one point Sporting Kansas City lost 15 in a row.
Ooh.
So and that's that, and then after that they won one, and then that's when Vermees got fired.
Well, at least we got a couple draws in there, so we don't have that 15 in a row losing streak, which is, I mean, that could be an upside to look at. Uh, not so much for LA Galaxy fans because we are defending champions, and you would want to see your team come on next year and have some type of fight. And it hasn't come to play at all this season. They've had some close matches, they've had some good draws, but it just seems that the LA Galaxy is just in shambles every time they get hit with a goal. Last season, like you mentioned, Eddie, this isn't last season. And last season, if the LA Galaxy got scored on, they made sure they scored 2 on the other side. They had that offensive prowess to go out and look for the game and actually score and make it tough for the opposition. And this season has been shit. But we'll get to the match right now. I know Eddie, you headed out to San Diego. How was your drive out there?
I saw boobs.
BEWB,
No,
buubs.
no. We could say it. We can just put it on the title. BOOB. Yes.
The
Yeah.
boobs, the boobs.
That was cool. That
Nice
wasn't
little
too
birdies,
bad.
right? Poopies.
um, yeah. I mean, San Diego's not the worst drive. It's a nice little drive. Had like one of the worst co-pilots in the world, but it was this fool just sat there watching his fucking, was it? What's that stupid show you watch?
The rookie.
The Rookie with this. No, it made sure to let me know they had noise canceling headphones, so I couldn't talk to him.
Hey, I told you if
Yeah,
you needed,
exactly.
I told you if you needed something.
if you feel the need to bother me, please tap me. Like, damn.
Is that the rookie
will
with
go.
Nathan Fillion?
I will go down and on record, and I hope he backs me up. The best co-pilot team is me and Chewy. Fuck everybody else. I miss you,
Chiazo,
Chewy.
well, Chiazo actually had a fly in. How was your flight heading to San Diego, Chewy?
It was good. Fell asleep on the plane on the way over there, so it was pretty nice to be able to sleep. Um, yeah, the train is pretty nice, I guess.
The trolley.
The trolley. Fool.
The trolley.
Yeah, the drive wasn't that bad. We didn't end up catching traffic till like we got closer to where we were staying at, and it was cool. We stopped at a rest stop, saw the beach a little bit, took in the scenery, which was pretty nice. And when we got to our hotel, I mean, it was a cool day. It was a cool day to land on a Friday. We got to our spot. Saw Eddie at some barcade, which is pretty cool. The little barcade spot was pretty dope. And that night was like, all right, we're gonna have a fun time in
Fuck
San Diego.
fuck that barcade. They fucked me and Guti over. One of the jump buttons didn't work on
Metal Slug. Yeah, we were playing Metal Slug, and one of the jump buttons weren't working. I'm like, you kidding me, man?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And Galaga was occupied almost half the night.
Putting you on blast, coin op. There you go. Get your shit together.
Good spot. Hey, well, Street Fighter 2 worked. I was
I
having fun
know.
on that one. That was pretty
I
cool.
know.
I beat
But
him
yeah.
in basketball. I beat this guy in basketball.
Nobody was there. Nobody believes you.
I don't care. I beat him. He was whack. He doesn't know how to shoot.
So Friday night was cool, and
Oh,
then
thanks
Saturday
for
came around.
Thanks for agreeing with me, Chewy. Dick.
What about the co-piloting stuff?
Yeah.
Dude.
All right. Thanks, bro. I love you too.
I didn't say no. I'm with you on that.
alright.
We've had long drives together.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, let me ask you. Did you or me ever put on noise canceling headphones in one of those drives?
We couldn't afford them.
damn! You hear that?
Couldn't afford them. Saturday rolls around.
Did either of us threw bacon out the window?
Oh fucking.
Oh, oops! Fucking bacon. Is that the day we went to go watch that 7-2 ass whooping in Real Salt Lake?
No, I wasn't with you guys. I think this was Vegas for something.
Yeah, this was Vegas.
I wasn't in the car.
Your brother, Angel. Was Angel there? Yeah. I think
Oh
he was there.
yes. We'll leave it at this. This was the Juanito weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I flew in. You guys drove.
Yeah.
Shout out
We'll leave it
Juanito.
at
Shout out Juanito.
that.
So Saturday comes around. We got to be there early in the stadium. What are you guys' thoughts on the stadium, Eddie?
It was cool actually. Cause first off, you fuckers that go in with the rest of the fans, you guys are fucking crazy. I'll tell you that much. There's no way in hell in an afternoon game with no shade you're gonna catch me going in 3 hours early just so I can be caged like an animal. Fuck that. So we stayed out. We were out there probably till like 20-30 minutes before kickoff. We joined there
An hour before kickoff.
yeah. That's one thing I'll say like about the Galaxy that I miss from the old days is like before they put those fucking tailgate areas when it was an open area, the soccer fest were way better. And like San Diego kind of reminded me of what it was like before. Like their whole like activities and things they had outside. It's like we used to have better things like that too. I get it. There's like a whole nother new tailgate experience, right? You know, to each his own. But and then they have the soccer fest inside. But I thought it was cool. This is something that was at the Rose Bowl as well, you know, and they brought
Hmm.
it down to the Digs or then the Home Depot Center, and now we don't have it. So San Diego has something similar. We're hanging out there. They had a live band. We got there. I think they were playing Los Tucanes when we got there. They had cool games like test your speed when you kick the ball. They had like the dartboard soccer ball. They had skee ball or is it skee ball? What is it called? You roll the ball like in but like soccer style. They had like a little inflatable like 5-on-5 field. Dude, they had haircuts
What?
outside.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Haircuts outside.
Wait, well, you're missing the best part.
Uh,
FaZe rug with the NBA trophy.
Oh yeah,
What?
The- yeah. Yeah, I was so confused. I will never forget this because I'm sitting in the John, you know, it's like a sauna because they had porta potties, and I just hear like, what's that guy's name?
FaZe rug.
Face Rug?
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is. Well, apparently he's like some streamer. But the funny thing is, come with a meet and greet with this fucking random guy and the Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm like, what the fuck does the Larry O'Brien trophy have to do with San Diego? What? Yeah, I thought I was taking crazy pills, bro. I was like,
And
what am I
MLS.
hearing? Yeah, and MLS, right? And it's like, at the very least, bring the MLS trophy, right? You at least it's an MLS game, and then I thought I was taking crazy pills, and then I saw like on the social media later that yeah, it was this fool with the Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm like,
So he
what
just goes
are
around cities doing that. Just, here's the NBA and Larry
I don't
O'Brien.
know. I don't know. I don't know. That's like come fucking meet the Nag boys with the British
World
Bake Off
Series.
trophy. I don't know. Shit, you know?
Yeah.
Come
British
meet the
Bake-
Nagboys with the Indy 500 trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. It was random, but no, but like it's really cool. Their stadium and everything's really cool. Uh they had I don't know if we still have lockers. They have lockers outside still. They have some of the giveaways I thought were pretty thoughtful. I got there a little late, so luckily Tony was out there enjoying it too. They had fanny packs, free clear fanny packs, which is really cool. Free clear drawstring bags, which is pretty thoughtful in my opinion, you know. So yeah, all in all, and we took the trolley. That's the biggest complaint about I have about LA, right? Everywhere I've traveled, like it feels like you can get to the stadium easily. Like the trolley literally leaves you right there. Like it has its own stop. So all in all, it was a really cool experience. I don't know if Guti has anything different, but we basically had the same experience.
Yeah. I've been to the stadiums before. I think everyone my complaint, and I'm pretty sure it's everyone's major complaint, is that this stadium literally has no shade when
Yeah.
you're sitting down. I think the only shade there is like on one of the end lines where we were on the end line. There's like the little top like shade kind of like on the top, but that's it. It's no shade. The stadium's not bad. Being locked in a cage is always pisses me off because it's
Yeah.
just weird. uh, my favorite part was taking the train, the trolley. I think that was a kind of fun experience. Uh, yeah, just the fact that drops you off right in front of the stadium is pretty. It's pretty dope. I was already having my pre-walk of shame before the game, so that was fun.
And it,
but overall, the stadium is cool. But I think one major problem is it has no shade.
and
Yeah.
by the way, shout out to forgot the guy's name you had at the on the midweek, but we listened to it on the drive, and yeah, it's because of him we took the trolley. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's like when he was giving tips, he's like, oh, if you don't want to pay $50 for the for parking, just pay $5 to take the trolley round trip. And yeah, sure enough,
Yeah,
smooth
that's
ride.
Tony Sanchez.
Tony Sanchez.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony Sanchez.
You saved us $50.
And yeah, and
So you know how you guys were saying there's no shade, right? I think he mentioned, I think it was from him or somebody else. I heard that before the press area didn't have any shade either. So he
oh
would
yeah,
sit
no,
there.
it was David Calhoun. He was on Corner of the Galaxy on Thursday, and
Yeah, I've heard it before
yeah.
somewhere else too, though. So it made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
yeah, not even the press get fucking shade. That's crazy.
No, I'm.
And they gotta
No, I
suffer
mean,
with
the
everyone
last
else.
time I covered a Galaxy game, the very last time I did one with Press Pass was in 2013. I remember it was a playoff game, and my God, it was so cold that night. It was like in the high 30s, and or like low 40s, I forget. But they had us. The press box was so packed. They had us like sit in the corner right behind Lars. You know that little area where it's handicapped. They had us sit up there, and it was freezing, man. And I hadn't prepared for that. I thought it was gonna be like nice and cozy in the press box, but no, I was out in the elements.
Psych, psych. As far as Galaxyland goes, they did have a couple food spots in there. Of course, they had the bar, and they had that big ass gallon of water with a bunch of restrooms, which wasn't that bad. But I get the point that nobody wanted to be caged in. But as far
Water
as
was
being in there, it was cool.
the water was the best thing.
Yeah, I doused myself in a bunch of cup of
Oh,
waters
actually,
the whole night, which is pretty cool.
I know that's you guys were in there, but that's a cool touch to the water because for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe Guti just has a criminal face. They didn't let Guti go in through. We didn't know where to go in because we didn't go in with all the fans.
Mhm.
So I went in through a regular entrance, I guess, and Guti didn't get to go in. So I went. I was walking around the actual stadium freely for like the first couple minutes, and they had like those big old gallons of water. They had them everywhere. I'm like, damn,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm like, that's tight.
Yeah.
Like, why does the Digs do that? And that, the San Diego Stadium has a bigger capacity, so
Mhm.
it's like if they can do it, we could definitely do it.
Yeah, especially in these hot ass days. And well, the match was at what was it, 1:45, peak of the sun, and yeah, everybody did enjoy that water tank, which was well, I did. I showered in that shit because that shit was fucking hot in there.
I definitely did, and I was out of it by the time I got in there.
What are some cons since you guys were walking around the stadium?
I didn't really get to walk around the stadium. I think once I got there, I was waiting for this fool, and then we just went in to the what's it called, to the section that they locked us into.
Hans,
Any food things that you might have seen inside the stadium? You were like, oh, this is pretty unique.
no, I didn't. I didn't honestly didn't check the food.
Yeah, me neither. I usually don't buy food at the stadium unless I'm really really starving.
Yeah, no, I mean cons. I can't think of many. Pretty cool little stadium.
It's just the shade aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean that's pretty much it. But I feel like that's besides the digs, that's like an advantage that other stadiums do to away traveling fans. 'Cause I feel for the most part, my experience has always been like that. Like Houston, Jesus Christ, Houston was like one of the most brutal
Oh yeah.
experiences I've had. Also, what was it? Seattle, but it wasn't that hot at that time. You get put up there in a section far away from everybody. Where else have I been? I guess Nashville. It was pretty hot, but again,
Yeah, I think the only crazy one that I've had was when I went to DC. Um, those I think the one thing I'll never forget is those stairs going up, because they literally made us sit all the way to the top, and walking up those stairs was terrible. And not only that, we got hit with the rain that time, so there was literally no cover for us, and they didn't let us. And they didn't let us leave like the small section we were in, so like we were just getting drenched.
breaking news: Guti hates stairs.
Hey, well, we had to walk
Those
up a lot of
stairs,
stairs
dude,
too this weekend.
No, those stairs were deadly. Like that's probably like the worst ones because I think with the thing with Audi Field, it's just one fucking stadium. Like it's just I don't know.
I
how
think
to
it all
explain
depends.
It's like a
I think
pit, right?
I don't.
Yeah,
it, all
kinda.
it all depends because I will still say that crypto Staples, whatever you call it, has some of the worst
Oh, yeah.
stairs because it's so fucking steep. That's like the worst built arena. As
SoFi,
much.
the top area.
Oh, I will never know because if the SoFi is so big, and if I have to sit all the way up, I'd rather stay home. That's fuck that.
Yeah.
Luckily, from my experience at SoFi, I've sat at the bottom, so it's not even that bad.
Oh, perdón. I didn't say it like that.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
listening to you guys talk about this compared to my experience in Vancouver, where they let us in before everybody else. It's nice covered stadium, and you
Yep.
walk in, it's gorgeous stadium, and then you just like go up 2 flights of stairs, and then you're right there in your little area with a wall behind us. There's nobody behind us to throw junk at us, and Canadians being Canadians are nice and friendly, so they're waving at us, and that was it. It was nice. It was comfy. We got freedom to roam around the stadium. It wasn't like they locked us in. So I got to walk around, yeah, meet some friends, and meet the mascot, take photos. It was
Sick
cool.
ass mascot.
Yeah. So yeah. So if you guys want to have a nice little experience, go to Vancouver, man.
Yeah, go head out to Vancouver. Well, I guess we got to talk about this stupid ass game. Uh, let's go with the starting lineup. A surprising start for me. We had Mikovic at goal. Your center back pairing, Emiro Garces, Maya Yoshida. Out left, John the Rock Nelson. Out right, Mickey Yamane. Your two pivot center midfields, Lucas Sanabria, Edwin Cerillo. Your quote unquote cam, Marco Royce. Your right wing, Gabriel Peck. Your left wing, Diego Fagundes. And up top, Joseph Painso. Edgar, is this lineup something that you would have expected the team to win with?
I would hope so. I was a little surprised that they actually took Ramirez out, but I was kind of hoping to see more Mateos Nascimento, but at this point in the season, they're not going to get into the playoffs. Just put the kid in there, man. But yeah, the whole Mikovic thing that kind of surprised me. Um, but yeah, I still felt the same. I still felt like Galaxy was going to grind one out. I was hoping to myself, don't try to play nice or pretty football. Just play ugly and gritty and grind one out. That's all that matters. And I thought to myself that these guys were gonna do okay for it.
Here for the pain. Everyone is Cisco. Eddie, any surprises aside from the goalkeeper?
Not really. I mean, even the goalkeeper, easy to argue. I'll straight up say it. Our goalies suck. You know, they all have flaws. Well, we haven't seen JT play yet, but our two quote unquote main keepers have big flaws. And yeah, I mean, I think we talked about a little bit before the game with people around us, and I think that just means is that one of them we're getting ready to move one. Like, there's no point in having two mediocre ass keepers on our squad. So no surprises. I figured at some point something was gonna go down with the forward position because I said it either on our show or when we're on La Cuna that I was rooting for Christian Ramirez, but I'm like over the experiment. He's just not fast enough to be part of this game. I'm on Edgar. I would rather see Nasi, but I think the writing's on the wall. I don't think that's something we're gonna see. Um, so yeah, surprises. Not really. And no, like I said, no, there was nothing that was gonna make me think we are gonna win this game. So I still didn't change my mind when I saw it.
Because I mean, aside from Ricky Pooch being out, this is basically a full healthy squad, and you would have
Yeah,
thought that this could have been a
this
competitive team on the pitch.
is the squad that
Yeah,
you have all your salary cap, all your salary tied up on. This is the squad that you maxed out on. This is the squad you built to go all in with. Let that sink in.
yeah, basically. And then the first half starts. Edgar, the LA Galaxy doesn't score to the 40th minute. What did you see before that that maybe had you worried, or maybe had you more optimistic than you would have thought?
Well, I just saw that both teams were trying to feel each other out. Because the first time they played each other, obviously we had no tape on San Diego, right? We just a few smatterings of games from the preseason, so there was really no idea what to expect. Obviously, that Galaxy team on opening day, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're. I mean, they were worse off than they are now, right? They were missing a lot of pieces, yeah, but they're still pretty bad. But the first half, I just felt like it was trying to see who would blink first. I know you've heard me say that before. Like, who blinks first is gonna like probably end up giving up the first
Shit,
goal.
we don't even have our eyes open.
Well, there you go, man. Well, I mean, I thought they did okay. I thought they did well enough to at least put up a fight against one of the better teams in MLS right now.
Let
So
me
that
stop
gave
you
me
for
a
a second though.
go ahead.
You said that's the problem, dude, with this team and our mentality and everything right now. And I quote, you said, "I think we did okay." Like that's that's good enough. Like I
No,
think we
I'm
did
saying
okay.
that within the context of answering the question.
Okay.
Overall, I think they were deplorable. To borrow a nice word there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in it just in spurts in the first half, I felt that they played okay and well enough that they could have scored on several occasions. But surprise, surprise, when we finally get to the 18 and or even in the six, then they have to put the ball in the net. Something stupid happens, or somebody like thinks too hard about it, or they get the yips and they just can't put the ball in there. Like Paint Seal, at this point in his career after winning an MLS Cup, that dude's getting the yips. Come on, man.
Yeah, and it's not just him; it's the rest of the offense. They haven't really found the right formula for them to go back to that like scoring goals like they were last season. Again, this isn't last season. We know that we don't have Dejan Joveljic. We don't have probably the biggest piece I was missing is which is Delgado, and of course Ricky Puig. So it's gonna have to take some adjustments from the coaching staff to actually try to get this offensive going. And it hasn't shown. We haven't seen anything from this offense this season. Uh, well, let me give you guys some stats before that goal came in. Possession wise, it was 58-41 favoring San Diego. Pass success percentage completion 89 to the LA Galaxy's 82. Corners, we had 2 corners and they didn't have any. Shots total 5-4 favoring San Diego, and of course the goal came in. Eddie, were you expecting the goal at that moment in that 40th minute? Did it seem like the LA Galaxy had San Diego in the ropes, so to say?
Funny that you would say that because I said it before we got on, and Guti can testify. I really needed to go pee, and I was like, "Oh, I feel like something's gonna happen. Like I don't want to go yet." And we fucking score. We score, and I was like, "All right." I felt like something was gonna happen. I don't know what you was gonna give. Don't downplay that. San Diego also had some chances, and we made some last second defending to stop a lot. One of the guys missed a sitter as well, so don't forget that happened. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Spoiler, that happened. I was like, yeah, we scored. Like I can go to the restroom now, and I was literally still on the steps in the stands when San Diego ties the game. I was like, fuck, I didn't even make it. I didn't even make it down the steps. I saw them tie the fucking the game. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I felt like something was gonna give because they were like exchanging punches, but uh, well, I already gave the spoiler.
And it only took a minute later.
And it was. Oh, sorry. I should talk about the actual goal though. It was a good goal all around, right? This is where Marco
Yeah.
Royce becomes important because, and where a lot of him rubbed off on Ricky is if you look at that play, he waits, he slows the play down, and he like, I think Peck is like really like yelling for the ball, and Peck is cutting in, and then he holds and he plays it to Fagundes, and because he held so long, Fagundes, then Johnny Nelson makes the overlap run, and he puts that defender that was on Fagundes on an island, and it gives the opportunity for Fagundes to open the space easily and score a banger. So uh, I said this before, and now Royce is like gonna be statistically probably our best player if you look at like goal contributions per minute. I don't know if there's an actual stat for that, but I'm just from what I seen, that's what I'm guessing, and I also just want that to happen so I could say I told you so.
But it took him a whole full season and these last 3
So
matches for
what?
Marco Royce to try to get it
He
going.
was not. You also got to remember he was not brought in for that. So
Well, he's balling out right now and losing efforts. So you were right, Eddie. He's still good.
thank you.
1 minute later, Edgar, the San Diego, what is it? FC? I was going to say Wave. They
No.
scored
The
1
loyal.
minute later. Take us to that play, and how disappointing was it to take that goal right after you score one?
Dude, I can't even remember the play right now, to be honest. I just remember like Galaxy had scored, right? And I was like, all right, cool. We got a goal. And I'm looking down at my phone. And I'm like, tweeting it like, "Yeah, let's go, boys," and sending a message to our buddies on the social media, MLS fan chat, and like literally as I press send, I look up and I see San Diego get the ball, get the goal back, and I just dropped my head and I was like, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
and so I tweeted back, "Damn it, the lead didn't even last a minute." And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I need to step outside. And so like I went to take my dog out to pee in the backyard, and I just needed to step outside and stand out there for a little bit. And that's a point where I was just like, yeah, I've lost all share of hope in this team. I think they're gonna lose this one.
All right. I'll give you my perspective of the goal since Edgar didn't really pay attention to it. Uh, I think this team worked so hard to get that goal and really wanted to take the lead that when they did, it was almost like if you ever watched the movie Semi Pro when they're all celebrating and the team turns around and just like scores. If you go back and watch that play, the I think it's Luca De La Torre that does start that play. He has the ball, he plays it wide, and he runs between through all three midfielders, and they're all caught like, oh shit, we have to
Yep.
chase this guy, and they all chase. Yoshida, for whatever reason, gets pulled out of position. I don't know what the hell Casares is doing.
Garces.
Garces might as well be. Um,
Garces would never.
and then I think it's Cerillo was the closest man chasing Luca De La Torre, who comes in and taps it in.
Sanabria chased him down or lagged.
Whoever it
chase
was.
down.
Point is, that shouldn't have been the person.
Yeah.
You watch the replay and then the other angle, at all of a sudden, Yoshida and after the ball's hit, Yoshida and Garces come into frame, and you're like, where the fuck were you? Or look where that ball struck from. You
Yeah.
know, you're the center backs. What the hell is going on here? Like, this team is just playing bad, dude. Bad. It's like they're so afraid to make mistakes and drop more points, which we're gonna get into it later. I think was the case at the end of the game as well. I've said this before, and I've said it again. You've played this sport before. If you played in a team, you've played in leagues, and if you've been on both sides, which I've been on both sides, winning and losing, it's easy to forget how to win, and it's also easy to forget how to lose. Right? These things just kind of come naturally. You either walk in with some kind of swagger, like, well, let's go in, let's clock in, clock out, or you come in like, oh fuck, hopefully this is the one, and you're just so nervous and so tense to make those mistakes, and it's like it's infectious throughout the team or your locker room. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on right now, and I think we took that lead, and if you look at that play, two people tore apart like 8 players, and you're just like, what the fuck was that? Because I feel like everyone just put their guard down, and that's why the goal happened so fast. Because we're just standing there, dude. It's a big issue going on with this team, and I don't know what it is, but luckily we have Vanny for 3 more years.
And after watching that tying goal, I watched a replay earlier today. You could see the body language of the defense. It was like that moment in The Simpsons where Lisa had given Ralph a Valentine, and then when he tried to take her out to the date, and then she broke his heart, and then Bart pointed out, "This is the exact moment where you break his heart." It was one of those. That's what it looked like with the defense, and as hard as they try to go out there and try to get the win, it's just at this point it is mental. It's not. They just won the championship last season with the same defense, and yeah, it for us fans, it's bad. Like it's very demoralizing because, like Eddie mentioned, the team worked so hard for that first goal, and it was a beautiful goal by Fagundes. Just to be like days ago on the opposite end of that and receive that goal early, and then 1-1 at the half.
Same defense, but not the same money.
I mean, that could be something too, right? We don't know, but that could also add to what was going on with this defense.
I don't remember who was asking me too, and I mentioned that, right? It's like what do you think is going on? Like they straight up asked me with the Galaxies. Like honestly, if I had to guess, I think last year everyone was playing with some kind of chip on their shoulder. Paintsill had something to prove because he wasn't happy at his previous club, wasn't getting the time he wanted. Peck is like, oh, I need to put my name, make my name. Puj, even though he's not playing, he he same thing as basically Peck, like or Painsil. I guess the kind of a combination of both is like, well,
He
I'm
wanted
coming,
to avenge himself from his time in Barcelona.
yeah, and then you had Yoshito never won a domestic title. Marco Royce have never won a domestic title. Johnny Nelson, he came from a club that didn't want him, and everyone was playing with a chip on their shoulder. And now it's kind of like, well, we lost all these other friends around us. Yoshida gets a pay cut, so uh, it feels like they're just their heart's just not there.
A combination of all that. It really is a combination of all that.
Yeah.
And at the half, were any of you optimistic that maybe they could end the game at the time?
Nope.
You
I think
guys
we all know at
expected
this
the L?
point, like, oh, we're gonna somehow concede and do something stupid at this point. Uh, uh, Real quick, Brian, I wanted to go back on how you were saying how the team looked down after they conceded that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think like the main thing too is we saw Yoshida has been like that the last few games.
Yeah.
Where every time every time we would concede or something, the first thing he does is like throw his hands everywhere and look down um and it's it's that frustration that the guy has. I think not just him but just the entire team. Um, it it sucks, you know.
It's
What are you gonna say?
yeah, I get it.
Speechless.
Yeah, this is a.
You're Yoshida.
Yeah,
I was gonna
it's
say this is the kind of season that ages you. Like, and I don't mean like ages you as in like, oh, it tells you, what age you are. And I mean, it makes you grow older. Like from
Yeah.
all the stress and the frustration, that stuff builds up. Um, for fans, I mean, we've been here for a long time. We've seen all kinds of stuff, and but this is this is uncharted waters for us. But for the players, especially coming off that championship season, man, yeah, that's frustrating. I can only imagine.
I took a
Because
pay cut for this.
mm, what I mean is
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want to put any of those words in
Yeah,
Yoshida's mouth. I'm
it
pretty
could be
sure.
it could be going through his head, like second guessing his decision. He's probably like, "Fuck, maybe I could have gone home and taken the same money, and I would have been home." I
Yeah.
don't know, but you're right. It could be a thought that goes through his head.
Yeah. Very frustrating. And well, the second half starts, and let me give you guys some stats of the second half. Possession wise, San Diego had 58% of the possession again versus our 41. They had 9 shots on goal versus our 3, 6 corners to our 2, and pass success percentage 87 to our 79. So they basically dominated that whole second half. The whole second half. And I mean, they had chances too to put us down early, and the Galaxy, didn't give any leeway to that. Edgar, before that game-winning goal by Chucky Lozano, were you feeling anything at this moment?
um, I've said it before. I don't suffer from anxiety. Like I don't get like anxiety attacks or panic attacks or anything like that. But I was actually feeling anxiety. I guess you could
Hmm.
say. I was just like, come on, you can't. You guys, please don't lose this game. Um, And my thought was, if you're gonna lose a match, give up a goal sometime in the middle of the half. Don't lose at the death like you did in Philly. And
Well,
well,
well, they said bet.
eh, yeah, yeah. There, yeah, like like you guys have said, there are several times where I thought San Diego had him on the ropes because they deliver a 6-1-9 and just finish them off, but no, they saved it for the end, and that. I think that's the worst because you you're holding on to that shred of hope that maybe they could get some points out of this match, and no.
Yeah. I mean, there was some changes at the 73rd. Christian Ramirez came in for Diego Fagundes. Isaiah Parente came in for Lucas Sanabria. Um, didn't make a difference. They just, for me, I know there's some fans of Lucas Sanabria, but I don't think he should be starting with this team. I kind of like Isaiah Parente over him. Um, and maybe it's because, it's his first year here. He did have that collarbone injury, and he just hasn't found his footing, especially with the team how they're playing right now. Like everybody doesn't have any confidence in themselves. It just seems that the more they try, the more goes wrong. And so it's very difficult to kind of pass off that excitement to wake up and go play and, go train and be the most productive player you can be. And I had kind of high hopes for Sanabria, but it hasn't really panned out. So in the 90th plus, what was it, 90, 94 maybe?
93rd, 94th.
One of our better defenders from last season, who I thought was going to be one of the best defenders we have ever had, lays a big egg. Lays the biggest egg he probably could have laid in all laying egg conventions. What happened in that play, Eddie?
Wait, we're skipping through too much. I think it's fine. We'll definitely big hand in that L by Garces, but I don't want to excuse uh people on the offensive side, right? Let's start with Peck, right? Peck, I get it. This might be not getting the service, but when he did get one, he had 20 yards or more on his closest defender on one play. I don't know if you guys remember that. They played him the ball long, and he got closed out, and then it ended up being like Chucky Lozano when I looked.
It was
When I looked at
Chucky,
the,
right?
yeah, and I'm just like, come
He
on,
chased him
man.
down.
Yeah, but he had such a. Did he not have such a big
Oh yeah.
head start? And it was like, what the hell is going on? Um, and
Painter had one too.
Painsil, but I called it before. I'm surprised Painsil didn't come out, but I said, man, Fagundes and Painsil have disappeared. Like second half, Fagundes and Painsil were not effective at all, dude. These guys, it might not be working that way. Um, it's something that the Galaxy definitely needs to look into is find that striker that's going to be our striker. Painsil that needs to be wide. I think naturally he pulls wide. Um, Nobody fights for that fucking ball in the air, which drives me crazy, crazy that when they were like launch, and then we love to launch the ball. We love to launch the ball, right? And then like when that happens with someone like Paintel, he's trying to run off the guy or hoping that it goes over the guy. But if it's not gonna get to him, he just kind of like backs him up and kind of turns on him. It's like, dude, fight, fight for that ball. That's something that Ramirez kind of tries to do, but
Yeah.
he's just not quick enough. Nasi did a good job the last time he came in with that, but yeah, it's just it wasn't clicking offensively. You know, the possession showed it too. Who was it? Oh, you mentioned Sanabria too. That's one of the reasons he came out. Is you already know as a fan watching now, and Vanny should know too that Royce is going to need a little bit of help in that middle, right? And yeah, Sanabria. I don't think he had the worst game at least to start, but same thing. Second half, he just disappeared. Yeah, there's no way that a 35-year-old midfielder should be able to, outlast you in a game, and a guy coming back from injury and Painsil should be able to outlast you in a game when you're this. Even with the weather, because he's played in South America and he's what, like 23, 24? I forget
Yeah.
how old he is. So no excuse there. But yes, to the big moment I mentioned earlier, right? Like you're so afraid to make mistakes, you forget how to win. All you're trying to do is not lose. You're playing not to lose, you panic. And that's, I think, what's going on, that it's mentally fucking with them. And that mistake for any caliber professional player to make is such a crucial mistake. And man, if he was playing for the team, he would have been like, "What a through ball," you know. But man, I feel bad because I remember last year, like he's like this secret weapon that they were hiding from us and the rest of the league, and he came in and we fell in love, and now it's like, damn, he's getting a lot of shit. And it's like the guy we bought that guy because he was originally a loan and we saw something in him. We're like, oh fuck it, we're gonna trigger the buyout clause before he even gets here. And he's still a kid, he's still a kid. And I think now we hold him to a higher standard. But there was
Well, I
no
mean, it's just not him either, though. It's the
no,
whole
it's not
team.
him. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just him. But just that moment,
Yeah.
like that moment's probably gonna haunt him as a young player. I mean, he has to get over it. Hopefully, Yoshida's the type of captain that tells him like, hey, dude, I just scored an own goal like 3 weeks
Go
ago.
Lasso too.
Yeah, let's move forward. But yeah, it was pretty interesting if you've seen the show long enough or me. It's like when things happen, I always look away from the where the things happen, the action. I look around and dude, there was like 4 or 5 players that collapsed. Like as soon as I go in, they like laid out on the
Yeah.
floor, and I was like, damn, like this is this is definitely a demoralizing one. Uh, and Royce just looked disgusted. I don't even know how else to describe it. He looked disgusted by this team. Like, I can't believe I'm fucking playing
Yeah.
here. And I don't blame him, dude. The guy's played at the highest level. But that's just how this season has been going, right? We sold our soul to to the
That's a
devil,
soccer
and
guys. Yep.
yeah, we're paying it back. We've lost in every way possible this year.
And
I've said it. So
this is the thing. If you would have asked most of the LA Galaxy fan base in 2023, hey, in 2024, you're gonna go undefeated at home and win your 6th title. But in 2025, your team is going to be shit. I would say that 90% of LA Galaxy fans would have taken that same deal.
yeah,
Yep,
Can't
I would
say
take it.
otherwise. Edgar, what is going on with Garces?
I don't know. I think it's a lot of it is mental. He's like you said, he's so young, right?
Yeah.
When you're young, you see this a lot. And if you watch college sports, you'll see this a lot, especially because college players, as a group, they're very emotional. So you'll see college teams, especially in the NCAA tournament basketball, like they'll go in these huge leads, right? Like 20, 25 point leads, and you're like, oh, this game is over. But if you watch enough college basketball, you know that no lead is safe, and all it takes is for like one demoralizing play or two, and then the team crumbles, and then they end up losing. And so that it's just part of growing up. I mean, even me at my age, right? I mean, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough where there's things that I can just brush off like nothing, right? But then there's other things, especially because now I'm raising a child where it's frustrating, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, I'm doing everything I've been told to do, and it's still not working out. But then you look back on your experiences, and you're like, when you're older, or or you go through these rough spots, and you look back, and you're like, it wasn't so bad, or it was bad, but now that I'm past it, I feel like I've grown so much more. But man, when you're going through it, this is like like when you're in the trenches, it's awful. It's horrible. It's if you feel like it's never ending, and you feel like you're gonna be stuck there forever because it doesn't look like you're gonna crawl out of it. But sooner or later you do come out of it, and hopefully you're stronger for it. And that's what I get. I think that's what we're hoping in general as Galaxy fans, and that's the sense that I've also been getting from other like podcast friends that I talk to. They're like, you guys will get through this. You're gonna be okay. But I don't think anybody expected them to be this bad. Obviously,
Yeah, nah, this is a very bad.
it's like comically bad, dude.
And there's
yeah.
no other
You
explanation
you
than
could
to
play
put
that
a.
Benny Hill music, right, Eddie?
Yeah, yeah. Like you think about like bad news bears and everything. Like look at the
Yep.
ways we've lost, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
all happening. It's and then yeah, and then like at the end, right? The Ricky Pooge is gonna come back. Give the ball to the Italians. It's all that, but whatever.
It just seems that there's other forces that are inhibiting the LA Galaxy from being a good team. Magic
Eddie
or whatever it
mentioned.
could be, because it's crazy
I was,
how bad they're losing.
I was gonna say Eddie mentioned the Bad News Bears. I think if you've ever really paid attention to the movie, the Bad News Bears, the whole point of them was like they were all misfits. They were all people that came from teams that nobody wanted them, right? And we kind of had that with our Galaxy players. Yeah, at least with John Nelson being one of them. There are some players that just didn't fit
I,
anywhere else,
I
and they
mean,
end up with the Galaxy,
no, we
and
actually, we
they won.
actually, we actually were the bad news bears, but it's like it's like a crossover between Benjamin Button and the Bad News Bears.
Benjamin Button.
We started off good, and now we're going.
Now we're regressing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the Bad News Bears did have a sequel, and they did win. So hopefully we get to win as well at some point.
Some point. Could it be
2026,
Wednesday?
baby.
Could it be Wednesday? Or could it be
I don't
Saturday?
know, man. Those Smurfs. Don't sleep on those Smurfs, man.
Anyway, let's get to some awards on this one. Let's start. Well, yeah, let's start off with the game itself. I think we're probably going to be unanimous on this one.
Well,
Unless somebody has some, I'll give mine first.
we can give BJ's too because it maybe it will be unanimous, and that's a
We
little
have
too
it.
easy.
We haven't had a good BJ in a while. Who is your bad job award, Eddie?
Oh shit.
Yes, we're a BJ.
We passed by the building yesterday too.
Yeah.
The Boob buildings.
The BJ's
No.
headquarters.
The BJ's headquarters.
Oh man, I think there's a few to choose from. Who do I want to go with today? Let me cheat a little bit here and get a little help to help me decide. Oh my gosh, there's so many choices. You know what? I'm gonna go with Peck. I'm gonna go with Peck because I feel like he was like dangerous in the last game, and we expected like, oh, this is the turnaround point. And I can't highlight that play enough. Like he had so much space, and like this is his space to do something with it, right? This is where he's the danger man, and nope, nothing. Like literally nothing. It wasn't like it was like this amazing defensive play. It was just like he got up to him and thanks.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So I'm gonna go. I think there's other options. Some might be easier, but I think we should all hold Peck to a higher standard. Where I'm gonna go with Peck.
Gutinho.
The
Who
whole
do you give a
team-
BJ to?
The whole team for letting Chucky score.
Damn.
Nah, I'm gonna give it to obviously Garces because
BJ.
yeah, BJ.
Interesting.
I'm gonna give it
Edgar.
to Garces.
BJ Edgar.
Oh man. Oh, the whole team. No, and this is a precursor to what we're going to talk about later, but the security staff at Snapdragon, because yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I'll give Joseph Paintsil a BJ in this match. The one that is clear to me is that where he tried to lob it over the keeper and he kind of just field goal quick that shit. And he was 1-on-1 with the keeper. Could have done way better than that. Chewy, you got any BJs for today?
I'll go with Sanabria.
That was an easy one. I had that in mind too, but it felt like a little too easy.
Yeah, you guys took the harder ones. The harder.
Oh,
The harder BJs. All right, well, game is off award. Is it Garces?
It's got to be.
It's got to be 100%.
We were just talking about how
Except for Guti, he went with
except for Guti apparently. But we were talking about how last year who he was and like how he was a secret weapon, and now we're seeing this. It's kind of like, ooh, man.
He's still a secret weapon for the other team.
Giving through balls.
Yeah, man, that's only
double agent.
That's only 2 times he's given San Diego a goal, bro.
To every team, man. Every game, almost every game, he gives up a goal or does something.
That's true.
Ugh. Sorry, Garces. You get the game is off award. What about an honorable mention? Somebody had to play okay. Somebody was doing all right. Who do you guys give the You've Got Heart Man, the honorable mention award? Guti, let's start with you.
Shit.
I'm gonna be weird. I'm gonna be extremely weird,
Oh yeah.
and I'm gonna give it to Mikovic. I don't think he played
I
that
knew
bad.
you were gonna say that.
I don't know. I don't really like him, but he actually played decent. He saved our asses. Not I saved our asses, but he did all right.
Eddie?
Shit, dude. That's a tough one too. Because I kind of have. I guess I have my. I don't know actually.
Think about it for a moment.
I'll,
Edgar,
I'll,
you got an honorable
I'll
mention?
probably just
Hey,
go. I'll
Junior.
probably just go with Nelson. I'm trying to think back at any moment where anything really. You know what? Fuck it. He scored, even though he disappeared. I'm gonna give it to Fagundez.
Yeah, I
He's.
was gonna go there too.
I mean, he scored, right? I'm not gonna say he had a great game either. There's only so much to pick from, but I'll go with Fagundez just because of that.
Shout out to Lacuna for shouting us out. Make sure you guys tune into the episode at 9 p.m. Edgar,
Right after
who do you
this.
have as your honorable mention?
Oh, Eddie already mentioned him. I'll say Johnny Nelson. I feel like he always asks, he always does what you ask him to do. Just fantastic. You very rarely see him do something where it hurts the team, and he put in another good performance in this match. I just think about how much worse this team would be if John Nelson wasn't on the roster, man. God,
I mean, we
if
do
we had
have Julian
some
Alde
other wingback. Well, I mean, but then after that, what? You're paper thin, right? After that,
right after. No depth. Chuyaso, who do you have as your honorable mention?
I have Marco. Played good. Gave you
Mocha
assist.
Boys? Yeah, I got Fungunas for scoring. Because after that, he didn't really. I mean, he did trust the crowd. That was kind of cool. And now for the most prestigious award of all of MLS, the next standing player of the match.
Wah, 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 wah.
Boo, 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 boo. Edgar, who is your next standing player of the match?
Marco Royce,
Yeah,
This is so
and
disappointing.
it's a sad Marco Royce too. It's a Marco Royce by default.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with that. Third game in a row that he's played pretty decent. So
Hey, Eddie, what is it? What is it in The Simpsons? By default, what is it? The two greatest words in the American language by default, or something like that.
I'll get back to you that one. That's a little deep cut. That's a bit of a deep cut even for me.
It's a deep cut.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and echo it too. It's Marco Royce just because, and it's not like one of those. Oh my God, he played lights out, but I mean, the guy was the only one trying to make anything happen, and that's not what you want when it's somebody that's 35, and uh, has been dealing with a lot of injuries, and kind of in a way he's not in fully in match. It should be match fit, shouldn't be. So, although you're glad to see him playing the way you want him to play, at least to some extent, uh, you shouldn't want him to be your best player considering all those things, right? So it's kind of like one of those like Marco Royce. I guess he's the only one that showed up, but
yeah.
yeah. So, but it's got to be Marco Royce in this game.
So we all agree that it's Marco Royal. Unless Chewy has somebody different because he gave
I have
Uh,
someone different.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. His name is Chewy for actually traveling it out to go see this fucking horrible game.
Hell yeah, let's go Chuyaso.
Chewy.
Who's your next standing player, Chewy?
I'm gonna go the Guti route and say somebody completely different. I'm gonna go with Yoshida this game. I had no issues with Yoshida pretty much for the whole game.
All right.
There was issues with everybody in the defense, but Yoshida actually had a decent game for me from what he's had before.
It's because Chewy saw him shoot. He saw them shoot from halfway, almost scored. He's all right. That's it right there.
That's it. He won me over.
By the way,
Yeah.
Chewy said something about that the whole defense had issues, right? Like John Nelson, one thing was fine. Garces obviously messed things up. But and then something I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it seems like Mickey Yamane, he's he's taking a lot more chances to do things that he normally wouldn't do, and they come back and bite him in the butt. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Um,
The whole defense been off this season.
because
Though. It
no,
hasn't just
but
been him.
no,
It
but
feels
we've
like
been
he's
pointing
trying to
out
be at
Garces or
Apple, but
Yoshida,
he
but
doesn't have the speed to come back.
Which is
yeah,
why
but
he shouldn't be taking those
he's
chances.
also he's also going in hard on fouls, or he gets he makes like just silly things. By the way, if we're gonna talk about silly things, do you know how stupid that foul was that Peck got for that yellow card? That was stupid.
Oh
That
yeah,
was so
no, the
unnecessary.
the ref again strikes again. There was also another play uh, for I hate that. I hate to like we do. Wait, first, let's make one thing clear. We didn't lose because of the ref. All right,
No.
No,
let's
no.
let's
Yeah,
make that
that's for
clear.
sure.
But the some of the calls were questionable. The yellow. There was one play where Paintsill totally beat his man and he was gone, and the guy literally wraps him and pulls him down so he can't take off, and like that. That's a yellow any day of the week. And then I think it's right next. I think the peck play is like right after that, and it's like, and he shows the yellow. Like he doesn't hesitate. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What did
Sean
this
Freeman.
guy? Did this guy try out for the Galaxy and we like denied him? What the hell?
Damn. And of course, it's a tradition now, right? It's a tradition for him to give Mickey Yamane a yellow card at some point, right?
I was about to say
Good thing
that.
he didn't award a penalty for San Diego
Yeah,
on
thank
a
God.
on a shadow call. All right. Well, the other guys still go to Snapdragon, take a nail in the last minutes. Um, the LA Galaxy still winless in what 16, including last year's regular season match against Houston.
We're not gonna digest that play, by the way, just so we can get it. We can talk about it and get it out of our system because it's gonna come up at some point.
Which one?
The word Garces fucked up.
I, that
We kind of just digested it. Eddie
yeah.
kind
I
of broke it
mean,
down real
I
quick.
mean, what led to that though? What led to that? It was a cross back to him, right, or something like that, and then
It's just let it in there.
It was just a bad clearance by Emilio Garces, and I kind of saw a, some bits of the post game interview with Vanny. I didn't really listen to the whole thing because I think it would have
Can't
probably
can't
got me
stand
mad.
Vanny.
Got me
Can't
mad.
stand Vanny's post game conference. I just can't.
like,
So it's something
Vanny
probably that we
threw
could
him
look
under
at.
the bus, man.
Is it something probably that we could look at and probably mention tomorrow when we have a midweek with Sads from San Jose? Hopefully we do it around 8-ish. We'll see what goes down. We'll see what time I get home from work. So we'll discuss some of that stuff with Saz. We will have a midweek show for anybody guessing. We'll keep you
Yeah,
guys tuned in.
yeah.
And then,
Just real quick, let me
yeah,
get out of the way real quick. Yeah, we're gonna have Saz from the What Shaken podcast. It covers San Jose earthquakes. That'll be tomorrow, probably 9-ish, just to be sure. Just because like I was talking to him, and that's what we agreed on. Also, I also spoke to Alex Napoles, our buddy from Salt Lake City. So he's good for Thursday. We're gonna have him from RSL and KSL show. So get ready for like
Yay!
the beat down to RSL.
More
Diego Luna's gonna come
suffering.
in with like a couple shivs to finish us off. You know.
hell yeah. More ref reports that'll disappoint everybody.
No.
That will disappoint everybody. All right, Edgar, you
We need
mentioned it earlier.
we need
Oh,
a
go ahead.
I said this before. Like imagine uh, at some point we become like the team to be the MLS team to be earliest knocked out of the playoffs. I'm definitely not wording that right, but to be knocked out of the playoffs, with the most games left, we need like a doomsday clock, but with like points left. Like this is how many points we
Like
can
the
drop.
Watchman's clock.
Like yeah, this is how many points we can drop until it's over. Because 15 games, we're past the third in. What 17 would make it halfway, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's gotta be close. I
By the
gotta
way,
say, it's
go ahead.
gotta be
Go
close.
finish up. Finish your thought, Eddie. I'm gonna tell you
That's it.
something
That's
funny,
it.
dude. All
I'm
right,
finished.
because you want okay. Okay. Let's have a little bit of fun with mediocrity, right? So
Oh, that's what this is
Galaxy's
all
on.
about, baby.
So Galaxy's on pace to be the worst team in MLS history, right? In modern MLS history and MLS history, period, right? As far as like points is concerned, despite having some talented players on the roster, despite coming off a championship, it's like a little perspective in other sports, right? Just last year, the Chicago White Sox set a modern day baseball record. I don't know why I thought they lost 114 games. No, they lost 121 games,
Shit.
Oh, shit.
right? 121 games. And that broke a record from the 1962 New York Mets. And go Mets under the grimace guy there. But the Mets, they lost. They had it was like their expansion season, and they lost 106, 120 matches. I mean, 20 games, right? Um, so the White Sox were so bad last year, and I mean, it wasn't like the White Sox were that talented. They were just bad. It was just a bad team. They play in an ugly stadium in a pretty rough part of Chicago, and they're bad, right? So you're thinking that's a record that's untouchable, right? There's no way, right? And it can't happen again, right? So you look at the White Sox this year, they're okay. They're not as bad as last year, but my God, if you guys ever get a chance, go and look at the Colorado Rockies. They have 9 wins. Mind you, right? We're like almost halfway through the season in baseball. They have 9 wins and 45 losses. They
Ooh,
have
here we
a
go.
they have a 17% winning percentage. They are 24 games behind the Dodgers right now. And they have like how in baseball, I mean in soccer we have goal differential, right? Just to put it in perspective, Dodgers have 301 runs scored, 237 against for a differential of 64. So, goal a run differential. The Rockies have a run differential of negative 173.
Oh shit.
So
Baseball
they're on. Go
Ooh.
on,
baseball
Eddie.
seasons are so long, dude.
But it's
How
just as long as the MLS season, which is kind of funny. I'm wondering to see who's going to end up setting, a worse record, the Rockies or LA Galaxy.
The LA
the Ro- by
Galaxy,
The,
by
baby.
the Rockies.
by
The Rockies are
percentage?
fucking horrible.
Okay,
Oh
how
man,
many? How long are the baseball seasons?
it's 162
162
games,
games.
Damn,
and they've lost. They only have 9 wins so far out of
that's
54. So
that's
they're
162
But
games too long.
but there's a difference. There's a difference between the Rockies and the Galaxy. The
Yeah,
Rockies actually
one
has a win.
one.
they actually have. Yeah, the Rockies
They
actually
do.
won games.
Yeah, and one sport is entertaining, the other one is
You
is
know, if
baseball.
just
Shush you.
stop.
Not my fault. You have the attention span of a goldfish.
Hey, but
Well,
if
hey,
You
even
like
with the
golf.
attention span of
You
a
like
goldfish,
golf,
I
bro.
can keep up with the whole game, bro. Come on.
How dare you? Anyway, go on, Brian.
what
Sorry.
if the Galaxy, after 17 matches, go on a 17-game win streak?
Don't.
Let's give people hope. Let's give people hope. All
That's
right,
No,
Edgar.
no.
You mentioned it earlier, Edgar. Your BJ award. Is there anything you want to say about what happened this weekend at Snapdragon? What is it? Stadium? Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah. Before the match, I mean, during the midweek, we had Tony on here and we were talking about how San Diego FC is handling just being an MLS and rivals, right? Especially regional rivals. And we kind of briefly talked about what happened with LAFC and their fans and how we've seen videos, right, of LAFC fans and San Diego fans fighting, which was in complete contrast to what we saw on opening day when Galaxy played San Diego. Yeah, the rivalry between both cities is mostly based on the Dodgers and Padres rivalry, which hasn't really it's been mostly one-sided for the entire history of the Padres until recent years, right? The Padres got a bunch of mercenaries on their team and they're okay. They beat the Dodgers once in one playoff series and that's it. The Dodgers have come back and just like smash them every other time. But there's that rivalry, and it's like somebody says it's like that little brother energy, right? No matter what, the little brother's gonna try to get one on you, by hook or crook. And so there's that. But because of I think there's their owner or president for San Diego is a former LAFC staffer, and so he's kind of planted the seed over there with San Diego that they should have a natural rivalry with LAFC. Now, we know rivalries are supposed to be organic, right? But this was one that's being pushed. And so we saw what happened with LAFC when they went down there. And so we were talking about it this time. We were telling people, hey, if you go down there, just take it easy, go and have a good time. Don't get into any unnecessary arguments. But it's kind of hard when somebody goes and looks for something, right? And you're already upset. You've been in the sun for a long time, and you're upset from the result of a match. And not everyone, is going to be patient about these things. We all have different, different tipping points, and yeah. Um, and then, like I said, Ivan, we had, recently he talk about LAFC, right, in Tráfico. He said, we went down there, and you guys saw the videos, and and everybody was saying how classless the LAFC fans were. Where what you saw was retaliation for what was going on. And when then you're like, now a Galaxy does it, people are talking about how classless Galaxy fans are too. So what is the underlying denominator here?
Yeah.
It's the San Diego fans. It's somebody. I've seen a lot of comments online where it's like they don't know how to support. They're still either still learning, because we've seen similar stuff happen with some of the newer teams come in, like with New York City. The first time they played against the Red Bulls, they were brawling in the subway. They were brawling in the stands. Um, so it's one thing to push the whole narrative of like, yeah, we're gonna have a nice healthy rivalry. It's another thing where people feel compelled that involves fighting, which is never a healthy part of footballing culture. Um, and it all makes me wonder. They haven't played the Earthquakes yet, right? And we're very familiar with the Earthquakes fans, and we know how the San Jose Ultras. It takes very little to set them off.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what's going to happen when the San Jose Ultras travel down there, because they're a lot more aggressive than some of the other fans that we're accustomed to. That's a powder keg waiting to go off. And I don't. And that's the other thing is like I keep hearing, and I'm gonna shoot it back to Eddie and you guys and Chewy, you guys that were there, but the impression that I got from what I've seen, as an just from watching on TV or watching on social media, is that the San Diego security staff either wasn't prepared for something of this magnitude, right, a rivalry match, a derby, or they just they just didn't care, and things got out of control. So this is where I pass it off to you guys, because you guys were actually there, and you saw it happen in front of you. So, Chewy, Eddie, the floor is yours.
I guess I'll go. Uh, before we get crucified, or I get crucified, I just want to say like my opinions are my opinions, right? Um, so I will say that I'm a little embarrassed. Like Edgar said, right there. Now we're looked at as the classless fans, the Galaxy, right? And I get it to a certain extent, right? Obviously, defend yourself when it comes to it. Don't let people come in and push you around. I get it to a certain extent. Security, maybe it wasn't the best, but at the same time, it's like, dude, look, go back and watch those videos. Look at yourselves too, right? Uh, I love this sport. I love this sport and everything about it, but this isn't to me. This isn't part of my sport. This isn't what I want people to to think of when they see my team, when they see the club I support, right? Oh, this is what they do. And honestly, look at, and it's not just us, right? It's not just our club, because if you really look at it, like when other certain clubs come to our club, is we have to cage them. I'll use that term, cage them like they're animals. They do that. They give us that treatment over there too, right? That's not by accident. You know, uh, you guys are fans of other sports. You guys are fans of the Lakers, Clippers. You guys ever seen anything like that where they separate them? No. Boston Lakers hate each other. You've been to a Boston Laker game. You see them cage them like that? No. Right. So to say like this is passion, this is whatever the fuck you want to call it. No, it's not. Right. I get it. I saw everything. I saw how it started, and yes, absolutely that a particular San Diego fan did something very, very cowardly. Right, cowardly is the word I'll use, and he should have suffered some consequences. Right, whatever those consequences are to you, so be it, because it was cowardly. But at the same time, us as fans, and a big part, we didn't do anything to de-escalate it. Right, if anything, we erupted, we reacted in well, I don't know what the word is that you're here for, but in a manner that that wasn't that was classless, right? It's the proper term. It was classless. I said I was embarrassed. Um, Again, I'm only speaking for myself, and an exception with a couple people, there wasn't really anybody try to stop anything. Right? They were out there like, fuck it, let's go, let's get it on. Now it's like, it's a fucking, it's a fight, it has to be a rumble. I have to defend my my whatever, my colors, my team. And again, I speak for myself only. And there was we were stuck up there. There was a good amount of people around that I was around that were felt the same way I did, and they were upset. Actually, I would say, because a lot of the thing I heard, which it's hard to disagree, was like, and again, this is a lot of people, and the same thing was said. And Guti was next to me; he could agree. He can confirm. They're like, man, we all complain about LAFC, this and that. It's like, look at us, we're no better. We're doing the exact same shit they're doing, but yet we over here, we can talk shit about them. But where's the difference? And it's kind of like, dude, like who am I to disagree? Right? I'm standing here thinking like, oh my god, I can't wait to see how this goes online. All right, so that's all I'll say. I'm disappointed, and it's if that's your way of thinking, then hey, man, that's your way of thinking. I'm not here to judge. Again, that's my opinion. I don't agree with fighting. I don't agree with any kind of violence, right? Especially when it comes to sports. That's not part of the sport. That's not what you call passion. So, yeah, I mean that. I'll leave with that.
I'm more of this on the side of defend yourself, but I think moving forward, this is something where both teams have to look at security and actually tighten everything up a little bit more. Again, how Eddie mentioned, there was a lot of videos of just a bunch of nonsense, and if you got to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself. It could be the colors, or could be the people that you came with. If you seeing your friend get hit, you want to be there to defend them too and stuff like that. And I get that aspect. And of course, I don't want to be like seeing all these fights in soccer games. It's just, like Edgar mentioned, it was hot. Nothing has gone right for the Galaxy. There was videos of the SE supporters coming out to our section, and it just escalated horribly. And yeah, I think security should have been a little tighter on that. And maybe from here moving forward, it'll be a little different with security, and hopefully they could get it right. Because yeah, that was a low light of yesterday.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. You keep saying security, bro, and I'll go back to that. Like, what other teams do they do that to? Why
What do you
not?
mean?
Again, why not, instead of like everybody chasing a handful of Galaxy fans, get in front of our own fans and push them back?
I
Hey,
mean,
calm down.
on the video I saw there were some Galaxy fans that were trying to stop things. So
Yeah,
that
that's
made
what
me
I said.
feel.
I'm not
But
even
there's only a
saying.
few of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. That
Yeah.
that
Well, look, I'll talk a little bit on something on a different view, because Brian and I were on the bottom. We were talking to the G30 guys. We were actually like, we weren't even in the stands for the second half. We were down in Galaxy Land and just kind of chilling, just talking to other fans, like just being there, right? And we got involved without really wanting to or needing to get involved, because yes, one of the things was security. There was two security guards on a fence that was used to open and close to get in there from the outside. And bro, when I'm gonna say it like this, when shit hit the fan and these guys try to get into that area, I mean, what are you gonna do? Two security
Yeah.
guards didn't do shit. That was like, it took cops like 5 minutes to get people out of there. So at that point, you know me, and shit had to go a different route at that point. And it sucks because yeah, nobody expected that fence to get moved.
yeah, but that's.
You
I
know,
mean, it's not fine. Of course, like I said, defend yourself. But let me ask you: Did you go look for it? Did you go chase? No. That's the only like
did I
that's the
stay
point I'm
in
making.
Galaxyland? I did. I
Yeah.
stayed in the area, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, shit happened in there.
By the way, I
It
want to
sucked.
share something with you guys because maybe I don't know how many people had this experience, but once again, I'll bring up what Ivan shared because he told me he was. I guess you heard. what happened when LAFC was down there, but he said that the 3252 away section at Snapdragon, the San Diego fans were hiding in the bathroom stalls near the
Oh
away
shit.
section and they were picking fights. He said this is completely unavoidable. And then he said something very interesting, which I'm like, that's kind of a dark way of looking at things, but maybe you have a point. He said, as much as the league condemns this, they love the media that it gets.
Oh,
It's dark,
absolutely.
but sadly true.
And let me and here's my opinion about this. I didn't get to say it, but look, I agree with the whole defending yourselves and all the time, and I also agree with the fact that this makes us look bad. We're no better or anything like that. I don't know if you guys ever have heard this me say this before, but I think a lot of us have that ultra mentality. They want to be like they want to be on that level that Europe is at, and we already know how fucking crazy Europe is. Um, I don't believe in that here in the U.S. I don't believe in that in any of that here. I think we're just all regular fans, supporter groups. That's all we are. Um, from from everything that I saw on Saturday, um, they came to us. You know what? I get it, but at the same time, um, I feel like there was some points where you could have just said, you know what, let them do whatever the hell they want. Security did play a big role in this. I didn't see, if anything, I only saw like two or three. I don't even know. So in our section, we had that line of the row of security right there, pretty much. That was basically stopping everyone else from coming to us. Like during the game, they kept that section to us with the wristband. Um, they didn't do anything, and they stayed there the entire time. They let us go to them basically. And then the whole thing in the parking lot where they were trying to push us back, and it's annoying, but um,
They let us
it's
go because Garber made the call. It's like
we
we need the views.
need the views.
it's frustrating, bro. And
Yeah.
I go to games to have fun. I think a lot of us go to games to have fun.
Yeah, of course. You all
Yeah,
want to be there to have fun.
no, exactly. And everyone wants to be there to have fun. Um, uh, I feel like this kind of happened the same thing when LAFC when the whole LAFC Galaxy rivalry started. We didn't know how that was gonna go. I think it took them at least like 2 years to fully understand what was like the tensions between the two teams. That's why that every time when they would come here, we'd go over there, we'd get locked up in the like in there in a specific area. Uh, and I get the holding back in the section thing, but it's like at the same time, it's it's stupid in the fact that they all it to me it's hard to like comprehend this all this that's going on. Um, yeah, you don't hear this around the league. You don't even hear this in like the big rivalry game, like other big rivalry games like Cincinnati or Columbus or Portland or Seattle. Um, but if they really don't want this, there needs to be better communication throughout security and the stadiums and between both organizations. Keep in mind, I think I saw their statement. I think their statement is bullshit. I'm not a really big fan of those statements because at the end of the day, it's you're gonna get a couple of those people who just don't care about anything and just go over there just to fucking throw hands and shit like that. Um, and it sucks. I think it sucks on both sides. I think we're it's embarrassing on our half, and I think it's embarrassing on their half too. Okay, like I said, they came to us. I still don't know the reason why. I don't really. They came to us,
Yeah.
and I get that, and but it's like it's again security has a big fact play a big factor. MLS tries to put doesn't condemn, but like you guys said, they love the attention, and that's exactly what they want. They know what they're getting from this.
Yeah.
They want
Yeah.
those. Yeah, and I think the main people are like, oh, those Euro people who's like, nah, this shit's whack. No one wants to see this, and they see this and like, man, I do that in my home country. Hell yeah, I'm starting to watch this now. It's like, and it's like I said, I don't believe in ultras here in the U.S., bro. I feel like that's one of the mentalities that we have here overall in MLS is people who try to make the ultras groups and all that. It's like I it's just to me I don't think that's their intent at all. It's stupid. That's stupid, but
You know,
it's just not
Yeah.
there.
to close this out. You know what sucks?
A
They,
vacuum. Oh.
Yeah, the
yeah,
game too.
absolutely. One, I don't think I said like, well, I did mention the guy, the San Diego fan that kind of started it, but also I won't want to just make sure I say that I'm not putting it all on us. I know those San Diego fans also coming to look for it, but the thing that sucks too is also be considerate of your like your fellow fans, right? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be repercussions, right? And that would suck for like the rest of us, right? That like say they take like travel privileges away, you know, in all together. Hope that's not the case. I'm just saying, but like also like take into consideration like the rest of us, dude. Like
Yeah.
we want
And
our privileges, you know.
there's also kids at games.
Kids at
Yeah.
games, yep.
Yeah,
Families,
you don't
kids,
want
family.
to put them in any harm, and those are the tough
Yeah.
things to deal with.
Stuff like this happened before, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember. I think the worst I remember hearing about something like this before LAFC, before San Diego, was many, 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 many years ago when the Earthquakes were still playing in that baseball stadium. A bunch of Galaxy fans went up there for a game, and security did not stop a bunch of the San Jose Ultras from coming into the Galaxy section, and there was a huge brawl. And I mean, everybody got into it. And when
I
the
heard
police came, the police arrested all the Galaxy fans and took them
Oh,
away, and didn't arrest any of the San Jose fans.
Yeah, and let's not forget. Hopefully, none of this comes down in MLS. But remember that what happened in Querétaro. We don't want any of that stuff to
stop.
kind of boil
No,
over
no,
to this
no,
point.
no, we're not.
That was an
No, don't
inside
even bring
job,
that
bro.
up.
You need to stop.
What I'm saying, like, I understand the whole defending yourself, but dude,
You know what it's like out there? I remember I went last year. I went to a Clásico in the Estadio Azteca, and I went to a game in Querétaro where it all happened last year. And they're to the point where you can't take your fucking belt in. Like they have stands so you could check in your belt. No scarves, no belts. It's you have to make a fan ID. So you wanted to get to that point. Sígales,
hopefully
cabrones.
not. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully
Oh
not.
yeah, in Mexico, yeah. Ever since that happened, bro, Mexico implied that whole fan ID
Yeah.
thing, which from what I've known, it still doesn't work because there's still sometimes problems over there. But yeah, it's over there. It's gone to the point where you can't even take like a simple scarf into the
That's
stadium.
what really wanted to compare us to. Nah, fool.
No,
You
what
gotta
I'm saying, let's not get to that point.
no, that shit was an inside job though. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, nah,
Um,
that was brutal. That was brutal
It
to
was
watch.
brutal.
by the
No,
way,
but another thing that I want to add on too is um I like Edgar had mentioned the whole thing with the San Jose and the Galaxy thing. And I don't know if this is just me or anything like that, but like when it comes to games like that, like the San Jose and the Galaxy, you don't see that tension there as much anymore. Unless I'm tripping in our case,
oh no,
there's no.
It's still there.
it's
It's still
there.
Yeah,
there.
you're
It's still
tripping.
there.
It's
But
just they keep it under wraps now. They're very, very careful to keep the same.
Yeah, it
But let
doesn't
me tell
happen
you,
inside the
Guti,
stadium anymore, or for a long
Guti,
time.
if you really want to go and see what that's like, go hang around after the game, find where their bus is, the one that picks them up, and go and walk by them and see what happens.
Don't do that, Goofy.
Don't do that.
Dude, this Edgar knows by experience. Huh?
No, that did happen to me before.
Yeah.
I accidentally I wasn't looking and I was wearing my Donovan jersey and I just happened to walk by them and all of a sudden I look up and I was like, oh dear God, and they started surrounding me
Oi.
and yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
but
Yep, I have some
we-
funny stories with the straight from the stands people too.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Straight from the
Oh
Sands.
yeah,
We
I
miss you
have
guys.
a. Oh yeah, I have a cooler story than all you.
Ah, you do.
Ah.
Anyway, if you were affected by whatever happened last night, I hope you're okay. I hope you got home safe. Well, let's move on to the next game, which is San Jose. Ain't that some
Hey,
shit?
yeah, and all I'm gonna say is I know I had a this is a funny kind of thing that I mentioned to my friend earlier. I had a friend who was involved in this brawl. Two got his shoe taken stolen by one of the San Diego fans, bro, and he literally walked out the stadium with no shoe. And I was looking at him like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what happened? Like, it's a long story. I was like, whatever, I guess. But more of the story, no violence. Keep hands
R.I.P.
to
That's the
yourself.
shoe.
Yeah, and
Or
I,
else
I
you'll
think
end
it's
up
really
with
important to put that
no
message
shoe.
out there, by the way, because we had LAFC. And I know that for the most part, we didn't see anything bad, but I know there were issues because we saw paramedics in the parking lot after the game. I saw something blow up in front of me as I was like leaving the stadium. But hopefully, I mean, thankfully, it wasn't anything bad enough that we saw on the news or anything. Then we had this game against San Diego. And now we're gonna get a good dose of San Jose. Thankfully, this game is on a Wednesday, and you
Yeah.
don't get you don't get like a whole contingent of Smurfs coming down. But if there are San Jose fans, and like they show up like the ultras, take it easy, please. At this point, everybody's like mentally, physically exhausted from not just seeing this team play like ass the entire season, but you show up to support, right? You spend all your hard-earned money to show up, you support, and you're there drumming, singing, chanting, or even if you're just sitting on your hands, just get home safe. Don't let some idiot ruin your night for you, and maybe even revoke your privileges at the stadium where you can't ever come and watch a game again.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I know it's
Corner of the
been a
Galaxy
rough
time.
15
Hurry
weeks.
up.
Yeah, we got to let you guys go watch Corner of the Galaxy. You can find me as Brian Nags on Instagram and Twitter. Eddie, where can the people find you?
Can't.
There it is. Edgar, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Edgar Nags. You can also probably find me in Denver for that Galaxy away match. I will probably be there.
2026 champs, let's go. Guti, where can the people find you?
Either at Worlds Collide or Money in the Bank. That's it.
Let's go, baby. Chewy, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on social media as Chavez JA, Chavez Ka on all my socials. It's pretty easy, pretty simple to find.
Yeah, 2026 champs, baby. And that does it from us at News Across the Galaxy. From Guti, Eddie, Edgar, Chiasso, myself, Brian. We're out of here.
We're gonna lose on
2026
Wednesday.
fans, baby.
Let's go.
on
Keep on
nagging.
nagging.
Live.
Oh, 134. Let's go. Woo.
Wu-Tang for life.
Keep on nagging.
Keep on
Sad
nagging.
Boys for Live. 2020.